o'clock. You've got 1 hour to get there. Listening to 910 a.m. Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. Number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. It's 313-778-7600. If you've been paying attention to any of the news for the last several days, there's been a lot of talk about Tennessee, about the state of Tennessee, and as if, in fact, what happened last week with the expulsion of two black members of the Tennessee legislature, that, the entire world, the political world, is just coming to a stop. Everybody is all shocked and upset and surprised. And, oh my God, how could this ever happen in America? This is not the kind of America. What did the president say? The president of the United States says that what's happening in Tennessee, that just defies democracy. Really? I mean, now, let me tell you what's bothering me about the entire story. It appears to me, if I'm wrong, somebody pick up the phone and dial 313-778-7600 and tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm not. But it appears to me that a lot of folks are living in a world where they believe racism has somehow evaporated and that it's vanished. You don't have the obvious next step as to what happened. Let me just refresh the memories of those of you that have somehow forgotten, or let me point out something to those of you that were too young to know about the history of our country. Brown versus Board of Education was decided in 1954. The Montgomery bus boycott, where many African Americans wound up having to, where Rosa Parks said that she was not going to move, but she just decided not to move, and she wound up being arrested. That happened in the 50s. Really, it was not that long ago. It was a little bit more than 60 years ago. Malcolm X was killed and shot. He was shot and killed in 1954. Martin Luther King was assassinated. Stood on a ledge at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. Took a bullet in the neck in 1968. The 70s were full of riots and protests because even though the court cases said white folks had to move over and allow black people to eat in any restaurant, move into any community they wanted to move into, ride the bus and go to school in those communities, white America was not having it. They didn't really care what the court opinion said. They did not care what laws were passed. They just did not want it to happen, and they would go out of their way and fight, holler, and scream to make sure it didn't happen. The children that those folks birthed have grown up. They grew up in a household where they were told you're entitled to certain things because of your skin color. And anybody that's in your way, if there's ever a black person or somebody who's Mexican or somebody is Asian who's sitting in a class, in a seat, that seat belongs to you and they took yours. If there's ever any job that they want, they were taught that they were entitled to it, that they're supposed to get them all. And that anytime there's a woman or an African American or somebody of any other culture in that job, that they took their job and they are entitled to come and take that job. They will fight for it. I've said this before. It was 1981 when I'm sitting we weren't in class, we were in a lounge, and people were in there complaining about Alan Blakey, and they were upset, saying, you know what, that he deserved the seat that he should have been his in college, and that for anybody else to have been there, especially because it was given to a black, oh my God, how horrible those rules are. These kids were in college with me, okay? They were taught that they are entitled to things and nobody else is supposed to get what they are supposed to get. Why would you believe that those children have turned out, those kids that have grown up would act any other way other than what they were taught? When you see the governor of Florida boldly and very aggressively go out of his way to say, you know what? We're not teaching any of that. They call it woke. That's their phrase, and we'll talk about the word woke on some other day. But they go around with this attitude of anybody that is quote unquote woke happens to be, you know what, anti-white. Nobody's ever said that woke culture was anti-white, but never mind. Don't be bothered by the facts that that's not really what happened. That's what he plans to run for president on, is his right to discriminate against people, and that anybody that gets in his way of discrimination, like the Disney Corporation, he will punish them. He was taught and raised to be that way. Why on earth would you think that it's okay for the governor of Florida to act that way, for the governor of Texas to say, yeah, I know that that person was shot, that he shot and killed a black person, an unarmed black man, that he went to trial. He got convicted, but I'm going to pardon him because he really shouldn't. He's not the kind of person. He doesn't deserve to be in prison. Oh my God, no. Why in a world where those things happen on a daily basis would you be surprised at all when the officials in the state of Mississippi have said, you know what, we're taking over Jackson. We simply, I know that the black folks have gone down there and they voted and they've elected those folks, and we don't like it. So we're just going to take over the city. We're going to we're going to increase the place that the area in which the police are able to go and patrol, because we're not happy. We don't believe that that individually home ruled city has the right to have just, we're not happy with where their police run. So we're going to go and we're going to expand the area of the state police, and we're going to give them an area, a larger area to go in the protest or takeover. Why on earth, if in fact in Mississippi, where they've decided, you know what, they don't like that court system. The blacks in that city have elected the judges that they want, and we're not happy with that. We're going to take their power away. Why on earth is everyone who covered in this Tennessee story refusing to touch on the fact that three legislators, two black, one white, all took part in the protest against gun violence in the legislature, and they voted to oust which ones? The two young black ones, and not the one white one. And then they just sit there and grab their hearts and clutch their pearls when she said, it's because of my skin color. The rest of the media doesn't want to cover that. They won't tell you that story, that in fact, this is a skin color issue. This has nothing to do with decorum. This has nothing to do with whether or not you're allowed to stand up and shout and protest, or in this case, one of them grabbed a bullhorn when his microphone was turned off, when in fact the Republican run legislature said, we're not going to recognize any of the Democrats. We're not going to let them talk, period. We're going to suppress their vote. Why, their voices. Why on earth is everybody afraid to tell the truth? Here's my thing. If in fact those folks that grew up in those households learned that they were better than everybody else, what are you teaching your kids? I want to know what you are teaching children in your household. Y'all already know, when I grew up, we've all said this, that we grew up and we were taught that we've got to work twice as hard as the white folks. We've got to do better than them. We've got to act better when we're around them because of what their expectations are. I don't know what you're teaching your kids. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. I truly want to hear from Grace. Good morning, Grace. How are you this morning?
I am well, Mr. Jackson. I am well. I am well. Yes, it is sad. I'm sad by what happened in Mississippi. Am I shocked? Absolutely not. Because when white excellence get a chance to shine, they shine. They shine. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They saved their own and sacrificed the others. It doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me. So what I can't understand is, why on earth is nobody talking about the real issue? Why won't they address the fact that this is not a decorum issue? This actually didn't wind up even being about gun violence and the other things. It's because those folks who have power in that legislature have been born and raised to say, oh my God, how dare that person wind up standing up and speaking up for me, to me. He does not have that right. I don't have to recognize him. Look at his skin color.
So look at it. All of them were disruptive. what they say. They're all disruptive, but they're putting great emphasis on the bullhorn. But all of them were disruptive. All three, okay, as they say.
Listen, the ones that are on the other side, the Republicans, I don't know if you've seen the clips, but the Republicans who spoke against him, who are defending kicking him out of the legislature, the way that they talk and the way that they recognize other members is also disruptive. Listen, legislative bodies, people argue with each other. Tempers wind up flaring. People wind up, because they're passionate about their position. Disruptive is never a reason to wind up kicking somebody out of office.
Well, I agree. We clearly know. But you know what? Individuals that align themselves, and I'm going to clearly say it, white folks, and think it's going to be fair and just, I think they should absolutely wake up right now. Because it's not. It is not going to happen across the board being fair and just.
Grace, what are you teaching your kids?
I am teaching my child. I'm going to skip what I just said. We're not going to be fair and just with them. It's just not going to happen. My son, because of who I am, I don't push my views on him. I actually have conversations with him on a regular basis about what's going on in the world. How do you feel about it?
Hold on a second. Hold on. Push your views on? Wait a minute.
I don't push my views on my son.
Why? How can you teach your child without teaching them right from wrong, that this is what's fair and this is what's unfair, and I don't want you doing the unfair things? How is that pushing your view on your child?
No, Carrie, you just crafted all that whole story, and I don't know what the hell you were talking about. I am saying we're talking about white and black, and people. It's clear.
We're talking about your son is going to have to survive in the world. And my question is, I believe in teaching my kids. I want them to know what they're going to expect in the world, and I want them to do what they can to excel.
My opinion.
But I'm asking your opinion. When you said you don't force your views on him, I personally don't think that, but I don't think that parenting is forcing your views. It's teaching them the right way.
After a certain age, when the child sees, when he was 10, see blonde-haired and blue-eyed, and they pursuing him because he's cute, and I let him know, be cautious of that. I don't want him to not necessarily dislike her because of her skin complexion. I just want him to be cautious, because behind her is her parent.
So wait a minute. So I had dumped that out when I asked this question. So when I said, what are you teaching them? I want to know what you're teaching them about what to expect from white America. I didn't ask what, but I'm asking, so wait a minute. Is it all right for you to teach them the history of the relationship between black and white, and to teach them about, what you think is right and what you think is wrong, without even discussing with him? By the way, it's perfectly all right if you decide that you want to wind up dating one of them?
Well, we're not only talking, he's 11, and he was not going to be dating neither one of anybody at 11. Okay. I'm simply talking about friendship. And
do me a favor, they're playing the music. I got to put you on hold. Just hold tight. 313-778-7600. We're going to leave Grace on hold for a few minutes because Keith, I want to talk to you as soon as we come back on the other side of the break. Keith, Curtis, Larry, don't go nowhere. We're going to get to all of the calls. It's a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@theworldnetwork.com. thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new program on Mondays at 8 p.m. Catch a 2-hour block of Law and Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside of Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for Urban Talk Radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, GoodPods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station. 910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600, with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Listen, I'm going to leave Grace on hold for a few minutes because I had no idea that many y'all, not usually that many of y'all are up and ready to talk at 6 o'clock in the morning from 6 to 6:15. That's usually the section where I get a chance to run my mouth because y'all are not there. But apparently 12 of y'all are ready to rock and roll early. Let's start to knock out some more of these callers. Let's go to Curtis first. Good morning, Curtis. How are you this morning?
Good morning, sir. I hope your holiday was nice. I'm going to keep this short and brief. You made a very profound statement this morning. And you're 1,000% right, Terry.
I'm trying. Go ahead, brother.
America's turning brown, and they can't face that. That's killing them. They see that America is turning brown. You know, this is what kills me about the whole Tennessee.
Curtis, you realize though they've only lost maybe 1 or 2% from the time that I was 3 or 5 years old, and I'm now 60. So we may be getting there. You know that they've been promising that. I the first time I heard anyone say that, you know, white folks are going to be outnumbered, that the blacks and the Hispanics are going to wind up taking over. Back when they used to call them Mexicans, are going to wind up outnumbering them in terms of votes. That was in the 70s. That's the first time I heard that. It's now 2023. It hasn't happened yet. But
let me this, and
go ahead, brother.
What the thing about is they have the gall to expel those people for protesting, breaking the rules. What happened January the 6th? Oh, hold it. I can protest. I can tear out the windows of the Capitol and sit on Nancy Pelosi's desk, my feet up, grab her laptop, and you gonna kick me out for yelling?
Curtis, what you're pointing out is that they're being hypocrites. And again, we already know they're lying. This has nothing to do with decorum. They know good and well that when folks act up, they encourage people to act up when they're the right skin color. But my concern is the fact that all of the national media refuses to address it. And they keep, if you watched the morning talk shows yesterday, a couple of the speakers would run up and they would say, but it's it. And they would cut themselves off in mid-speech without saying, let's make it a racial issue. It clearly is a racial issue.
Well, what I'm saying is, though, what grounds do you have? You can't protest, but I can. I can only break the rules. I can kill people. People got killed January 6th. Okay?
People got killed. Police officers got beat. They didn't care.
So that's okay to them. So this is the girl. They can't take it. And I kind of, with me, that's one more question about what I teach my kids. My daughter's wrong. She's a nurse practitioner. My grandson, teach him about Black history. So whether he gets it in school or not, he gets it from me and his grandmother. Okay? So
but when he asked the question about how he should act while he's around them, what do you tell him?
I tell him what to expect in the world. The world ain't fair. Okay?
Thank you.
And they're going to treat differently than they treat somebody else.
There you go.
Okay, in his class. I said, so the people in your class, my daughter never went to private school. Never.
Okay.
And their son has never set foot in the private school. That's the choices that we made, okay, as a family. Me, private school all the way. Wife, the school all the way. But we teach him, because you there with him, you're different than them. And you're going to be treated different than them. So I want him to recognize when he's in school the difference, if or when that comes about, why it comes about.
Thank you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because kids will come home and say, you know what happened today? I said, what? So-and-so did this, and the teacher said this, but she did this to me or said this. She didn't say that. Well, I teach him, look, you're going to overcome these things, but you're being treated because of the color of your skin.
Because of the color of your skin.
And so it doesn't make it any better, but at least he understands why, or if it comes about, why is it coming about? Because kids don't understand.
They don't understand. Right. Thank you.
The world is all, well, I call them Debbie Dingo. Kumbaya, hold hands.
All right, brother. Let me knock out some more of these callers. Thanks, Curtis. Let's go to Larry. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Ken. Terry, one of the things that I'm probably more shocked about is that more of us did not know about Tennessee. You know, Terry, Tennessee borders 9 states. Back in the day, and this wasn't so much long ago, Tennessee was the place where it met with the other slave owners in order to sell slaves, and that it bordered 9 states. To this day, in Tennessee, in Columbia, Tennessee, they have a thing called Mule Day. Now, back in the day, it was not called Mule Day. It was really Slave Day, where you would come and purchase and buy slaves. But in these parades and these marches, you would not believe, if you went down to the camera down there, you would be actually shocked that Blacks are participating in Mule Day. And most of them don't even understand that. One of the things that I'm most shocked about is that not only are those Black legislators to be expelled like that, they're not just being expelled, as I'm hearing say, it's because of, let's just say it. And I was actually shocked that the white woman acknowledged that. But I was more shocked on the reaction that received. That it's still in Tennessee. Do as I say, not as I do. Blacks are not supposed to be in positions of leadership and power. And they were just exercising, what they felt was their rights.
That's because they were taught that. They were taught it. Let me ask you a question. Have you spent any real time in Tennessee?
I live there.
There you go. Let me say this. I've been through Chattanooga. I've got family members in Nashville and Jackson and in Memphis. And so we've been there quite often. One thing that my son knows is he was conceived in Tennessee.
Okay.
Understand this, that state has there's a chill. And I mean, in order to wind up getting to be my age, I've lived through some things, but there's a certain chill among when you walk in and you interact with, let me just say this. I can say it. Well, no, I can't say it on the air. Let me just say this. I made the mistake of thinking that the folks in the Cracker Barrel down there would be the same kind of people that we'd have in the Cracker Barrel out here outside of Detroit. And I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different breed of white American that you're going to find in the Cracker Barrel down there.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
One of the things about Tennessee is this. Okay, Tennessee is supposedly known as the Bible Belt. But little do many people know that the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan was there in Pulaski, Tennessee. In the birthplace. I went down there I was under a contract with the Saturn Corporation. And that was with General Motors, a subsidiary of GM, the Saturn company. I was actually shocked in the people down there. Now watch this, Gary. In Tennessee, now you must understand the history about the Civil War. They were actually shocked. The Saturn people that had went down there, they were shocked to find out that those people did not believe. And I said, wait a minute, why is it so hard to get a union situated there in Tennessee?
In Tennessee, right.
And I told them, well, wait a minute, first of all, do you know what that's like sitting at the dinner table and telling someone that, hey, I belong to Saturn and, I also have to sign a contract where I belong to the union? The union in Tennessee? Are you serious?
They don't understand the history. And if we don't teach them the history, they're never going to understand it. You've got to teach them, and then you've got to explain to them how it fits in with today.
Yes, but here, let me end it with this. One of the biggest things that I was most shocked about is that Tennessee is still angry that they lost the Civil War, and they're still fighting it. Thank you for taking my call.
There you go. Y'all, listen, what he just said, it tells you a whole lot about a lot of the states in the South, that they are still angry. The reason that you'll still see those Confederate flags, the reason that there's still all of that attitude is because even though these folks that are alive now were not alive and they didn't fight the war, that anger, that resentment has been passed down to their generation. 313-778-7600. We got to take the second break of the morning. It's a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is PG. Today's topic is about school buses and when drivers need to stop. I am here with Southfield Police Chief Elvin Barron and Farmington Hills Police Chief Jeff King with an important traffic safety tip just for you.
When the lights are flashing yellow on the school bus and you're driving on a two-way roadway, that means to slow down, pass with caution, and be prepared to stop.
When the lights are flashing red and the stop sign is extended out, you are required to stop, keeping a safe distance from the bus. Do not attempt to pass. This includes drivers going in the opposite direction. You too must stop if there is no barrier wall or mule.
While the stop sign is extended out, the school bus is loading and unloading students.
All traffic should remain stopped until the stop sign has been retracted, the doors are closed, and the bus proceeds to move forward.
Let's stop.
Together we can keep
our kids safe.
This traffic safety tip has been brought to you by PG and the Two Chiefs.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp Now, InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials, and you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Nate. Good morning, Nate. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. I thought about when that happened in Tennessee.
What'd you think
I
about
thought
it?
about all white folks don't want you to teach American history because it makes them feel bad. But guess what? Tennessee did. History is the past. Tennessee put the past and present on display in living color for the world to see.
And everybody is biting their tongue, not trying to recognize what really, really happened. And they're going truly out of their way to say it's anything else is, was it right for them to act that way? They talk about one of the two Justins, the one that was just elected in January. Apparently, he decided to wear dashiki to session back for Black History Month, and the other legislators, the Republicans, had a problem with that. They said, that apparently they know nothing about dashikis, and they decided.
Well, the other one, they didn't like him in the first place because he was demonstrating way before he got elected for them to take down a Ku Klux KKK statue in the building. And it finally came down. So they knew what he was about before he got there. They didn't like him from Jump Street.
They didn't. Right. You're right. All right.
I don't see why everybody's so surprised. Those who think they have disseminated, they see they haven't.
The issue isn't whether they're surprised. The issue is tell the truth. Admit what happened. Understand that it's all part of racism. And then move forward from there. Don't let the racism stop you from achieving what you need to achieve. Folks who are racist are going to be racist. You're not going to change their mind. They're not going to grow out of it, any of the other stuff. Just move past them.
You look what's going all around the country. In Wisconsin, they want abortion, they want a gerrymander, and they mad because they got a new Supreme Court justice to shift the power. They talking about they teach the folks to even get sworn in. What's wrong with them? They gone crazy. And then I look at the news yesterday. Here's a guy in Texas that murdered a man. And then he got convicted.
He shot the man and killed him who was the man wasn't even holding, he was unarmed. And he killed him and got convicted at trial. And the governor said, "I'm going to pardon him."
He goes, parole board, I guess they have a different law. He told the parole board to pardon me. He started doing it there. What kind of crap is that?
You're right.
They go crazy.
It's not. Call it what it is. We already know that it's racist.
That's right.
And when racism shows its head, call it out, tell the truth, so that everybody will understand it's racism and move past it. Thanks for calling this morning. Let me knock out some more callers. Let's go to Carl. Good morning, Carl. How are you?
Yes, thank you. Fine. You ever heard of Paris, Tennessee? In the corner of the state, Paris Landing? Well, I had some people, family down there years ago. That's what in this area where the houses sit on stilts. But anyway, yeah, just the other caller said, they missed out on, they hate they lost the Civil War. No, people like that hate they missed out on slavery. That's what they hate they missed out on. Period. There's no other reason to be racist and hateful like that. It's very simple. I have no feelings for racist people. Same right back at them. But here's the thing. You ask about the history. You ask a white Jewish millennial, that's young folks, the history of their people and the history of Germany. They don't even have to set foot in the country of Germany. They'll tell you everything about that country. They'll tell you about World War I, World War II. They'll tell you about Hitler. They'll name all the generals, all the concentration camps. Ask a young black person about our people here in this country. Some of them don't even have a clue. Ask them about W.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey. Ask them about Booker T. Washington.
Whose fault is it that they don't have a clue? Yes. Whose fault is it that they don't have a clue?
Our people. We have to teach our children the history, because just like those legislators, their parents taught them how to hate. They taught them this. It's passed on.
So what are you teaching your kids?
Oh, all my kids and my grandkids, they get tired of hearing me sometimes. They know it for full extent of the history of our country. If you know the history of America, you basically know the history of the world.
Thank
you. I go through the whole line. I never stopped, because who taught me was my uncles and my aunties. They went because they come from
I agree. I learned from my uncles and my grandparents. So my aunts, my uncles, and my grandparents. And since I've learned that it's my job to make sure that I pass it on to the other ones, the ones that are younger. They need to know where we came from so that they'll understand where we're going. Let me knock out some more callers. Thanks for calling. Let's go to Keith. Good morning, Keith.
Hey, good morning, Kerry. I taught my children as they were growing up that I do not believe that this is a racist country, but I do believe it is a country that is plagued by racism. So what I try to encourage...
Tell us what's the difference.
I think that when you have a country that is racist, there are clearly articulated policies that generate separation based upon race. I don't think that that's where we are. I think that's where we were at one time. But now we have a country that's still plagued by racism for the same reasons that you indicated earlier. Some people simply can't let go. There are some people, and I do not believe that they are in the majority. I think that they're the vocal minority or the active minority who still believe that Black people and people of color are somehow inferior to them. But then here's the other side of that coin. I listened to Grace last week, and I heard her say that we as Black people are superior to white people, that it's in our DNA and all that kind of stuff. How is that any different than what Adolf Hitler preached, and I'll say preached, to the Germans, although he was Austrian? He preached to the Germans about this Aryan master race. It's no different. The same doctrine that he was preaching is the same one that Grace was talking about last week as it pertains to us.
But you understand, Keith, clearly, brother, but now you know
race is superior to the other.
Keith, you know that there are people in our community who, and everybody that's been listening to me for a while know I try to mix it all. There are, I want y'all to hear the Tim voice, because you need to know that those people are out there. I want you to hear Grace's voice so that you'll know that they're at the other end of people who are like Grace and Fidel, who have been so burned on and stepped on by white America. Their reaction is to go back and say, I don't like y'all people. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And we've got to deal with the fact that there are folks from each extreme in our community. You know that in order to feel that way, she's gone through some stuff. She's lived through some stuff. And now we've got to try and fix what she went through. But at the same time, we've got to deal with the people in Tennessee and Mississippi. Yeah.
Kerry, I am 68 years old. I got kicked out of Cass Technical High School March 23rd, 1971 at 1:30 p.m. because I beat up a white boy who called me the N-word and then spit at me. And my assistant principal, Donald Carmian, at that time, told me that this was something I needed to get used to. So I don't want to hear about people have gone through some stuff. My first day at Henry Ford High School, after I got kicked out of Cass, walking up Evergreen from 7 Mile, somebody had a monkey hanging from a tree saying, go back to Africa. When I got to Henry Ford High School, we had white people in the community who did not want us there. And the fighting got so bad that they actually had to bring buses up along the side of Trojan where the gym and the auditorium are in order to bus us out of Henry Ford High School safely. So I don't want to hear people talking about they've been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff. Those of us who went to Henry Ford at that particular time have been through some stuff, like including my friend Keith Williams. He was there when all this was going on. But just like you, Kerry, we did not allow racism to stand in the way of our destiny. It was about having preparation meet opportunity to take advantage of it. And that's what I did. My 3 children, all 3 of them are successful. But I made them aware of the fact, don't be illusioned by the fact that Black people have made progress. When I've done speeches to people and we talked about President Obama, I said many of us thought that because we now had a Black president that we had overcome. And I would tell them, no, we did not overcome. We simply came over. And when you look at the situation in Tennessee, it's glaring evidence that some people still have that mindset that they will not let go of, that Black people somehow should be subjugated to disparate treatment. But we cannot let that stand in our way either. So I'm not going to buy into the argument about what people have been through. Yeah, it's easier now than it was for me as a 68-year-old.
You're right.
We cannot allow racism to be the reason that we do not achieve.
Thank you, brother. I got to go to break. They playing the music. It's a minute early, but thanks for pointing out what you did. And we've got to go to break. It's a quick break. We'll be right back.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome at the end of your first year. They automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you've earned doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Coming April 27th in the Music Hall for one night only, backed by popular demand. It's Mesa. It's Mesa Live, also starring jazz legend Gerald Albright with special guest Andre Ward. Hosted by award-winning actor Hill Harper. Tickets on sale now. Available at the Music Hall box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours. The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming on Mondays at 8 p.m. Catch a 2-hour block of Law and Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38. The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
The 910 AM live stream can now be seen on Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, YouTube Red, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, any Windows phone. Watch us live at 910amsuperstation.com.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number in the studio is 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Just so that y'all know, apparently y'all are going to, you've heard this Tennessee story all weekend. I'm pretty sure that you're going to get more of an opportunity to keep talking about it. Why don't you make sure that you stay tuned right here to 910 AM Superstation later on this morning. Listen, I don't know, because I'm pretty sure that I've already seen that Anthony Adams has a guest that's scheduled. I just don't know that that's what that he's going to wind up. That guest is going to use up the whole 2 hours, but he's already in the feed this morning. Y'all also call him later and let him know what y'all want to talk about, because the phone lines have been off the chain this morning. I'm not going to get to everybody, but I'm going to try and knock out everybody. Good morning, Reverend Sheffield. How are you? Let's get back to the phones. Let's go to Fernando. Good morning, Fernando.
Yes, how you doing, Kerry? And thank you for taking my call. Kerry, I've had that quote-unquote talk with my grandchildren, and I've explained exclusively some of the things that's taking place in America. But I also want to say that I feel that a civil war has already started in this country. You have the 3%ers, you have the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, that's already upset about what's taking place, and that they feel deprived of the liberties that they felt that their forefathers fought for. You have the evangelicals that are against the LGBTQs. So in a real sense, it has already started. You don't see the cavalry or the cannon shooting yet, but there is a civil war amongst us. And I think what took place in Tennessee, those two representatives are casualties of what's taking place right now. The ADL and Amnesty International has already said that America is a very dangerous place right now, Kerry.
You're right. Thanks for calling this morning. Let's go to Kwame. Good morning, Kwame. How are you?
Oh, I'm just saying. I like to ask you, is it legal to dismiss an elected official for protesting?
Probably not, but here's the thing. There's separate judicial, the judicial branch should not tell the executive branch nor the legislative branch how to run their business. So if in fact they can make out an actual case to say we were intentionally discriminated against because we were black and that's why we were thrown out, then they might wind up having an argument in the federal court down there to say, listen, judge, tell them they've got to seat us back. I'm pretty sure they're not going that route. Apparently they have a day of action planned down in Tennessee today, and that the county commissioners both in Nashville and in Memphis have already said, we just reappoint them. We're going to reappoint, since that's the way that their charters are written down there, that they get a chance, if there's a vacancy, they get to appoint them. They're going to reappoint both members, both of the young blacks, to their seats so that they can go back to work. And then this fight's going to start all over again. I'm pretty sure that it's going to work its way out one way or the other. But the point that I want to make is we're going to have to keep fighting. Anybody that thinks that the fight was over 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or in 2012, yeah, the fight's not over. You got to keep fighting.
So, these people are just acting outside of structure. They shouldn't even expect to stay in office themselves if they're going to act outside of the legal structure.
Again, they feel entitled. They believe they've got a right to do it, and they want, and listen, these folks you have not seen this weekend, not one white person from Tennessee get on there and say, this should not have happened. We're sorry. Oh my God, this was a mistake. No, the Republicans in Tennessee are in power and they feel like we can do whatever we want. And by the way, anybody that's young and black does not have the right to stand up and say what he wants. We're going to shut him up.
Well, they can fight God if they want to.
We're going to see what happens. Thanks for calling. Let's go to New Tim, see if we can get him in before I run out of time.
Yes, good morning. I'm enjoying your conversation. We always wonder what the divide was in our race. When Chief Johnson came on there and made that statement about how easy we got it now and how hard it was then. I mean, when he was...
When did he say we've got it easy now? He didn't. What he was pointing out is that the folks that are our age, when he talked about getting kicked out of school in 71, I got kicked out of school in 75 for the same thing. Because I was in the top of the bleachers at a basketball game. White kid in front of me decided to call me the N-word, and I grabbed him and beat his butt as we fell all of the way down from the top row to the bottom. When we got in the office, the principal said, what happened? And I said, he called me what the N-word is. And he grabbed his mouth and said, oh, but you shouldn't fight over that. Yeah. And I told him every time he says it, I'm going to beat his butt, period. That's all. And so I got kicked out for 3 days, which is why I'm sitting here surprised because Keith says he got kicked out of school entirely. I got suspended for 3 days. And during those 3 days, my friends at school wound up having to bring me my homework. And they told me about the fact that the racial animosity kept going during those days. And I was mad. Like I told them, y'all can't fight without me. You got to wait until I get back. They was fighting in the lunchroom every day that I was gone. So nobody said that we've got it better now. I'm glad that people are not fighting and disrupting school for that particular reason right now, because we're fighting with each other too much now. But the fight's not over. We've got to teach our kids, you've got to stand up for your rights. You've got to expect that this is going to happen because of your skin color. But you've got to stand up for your rights. And by the way, you never turn tail and run. You don't sit and hide. You don't stop voting because the white folks don't want you to vote. You've got to keep fighting. You've got to keep pushing. That's what I'm teaching my kids. My question is, what are you teaching yours?
I mean, that things have not changed. That things have not changed from where the grandmother and their grandparents grew up, and from the era that I grew up. Things are not changing. It got more sophisticated. That red line here, my child can't go to school out in Grosse Pointe or go out in Ferndale, within the Detroit Public School District.
You don't tell them that they can't. You tell them they don't want you to, but you've got to go. You've got to go. You don't stop living because there are racists in Grosse Pointe, and it would be news to me if they're in Ferndale. I don't really think they're in Ferndale. But even if they are in Ferndale, you tell your kids, understand this, you've got the right to go wherever you want to go. You don't stop going simply because the racists don't want you there. I'm out of time. I can't get back to Grace. I see you keep calling, and every time you call, you stop the Facebook feed. I didn't have a chance to get back to her, y'all. We clearly, this is not a 1 hour topic. We're not going to, in the 56 minutes that I get, we're not going to settle it. So yeah, I see the same thing for Jerome. I'm not going to get a chance to get to y'all because we're out of time. Next up is State Representative Joel Jones. Either he or a member of the foundation will be here to bring you information and inspiration from 7 to 9, followed by Big Brother Anthony Adams will be here from 9 to 11. Y'all stay tuned right here to 10 a.m. Superstation. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Of course, y'all know on Tuesdays you get a pre-recorded show. I'll be back with you live and in person Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock. Y'all, it's 40 degrees outside now. Y'all know it's going above 60 degrees later on the day. Get out, enjoy it, stay safe. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.